welcome back to my channel. So today I will be reading you a book, and might I say it will be a very interesting book. I'm going to read it off of Epic. Epic is a great reading system and you should check it out. Okay, well, get ready to hear an amazing book. Let's begin reading How I Met My Monster. Looks like a great book. Let's get started. Let's begin reading How I Met My Monster, written by Amanda Knoll, illustrated by Howard McWilliam. This looks like it's going to be a good book. Watch to the end to find out what's going to happen in this book. One night, when I reached under my bed for my truck, I found this note instead. Monsters, meet here for final test. Z. Ha! My parents were obviously trying to trick me into staying in bed. I didn't believe in monsters. So I crumbled the paper, grabbed my truck, and zipped over to my garage. I heard some creaking, but I wasn't scared. Our house was always made noises at night. But then a voice under my bed snarled, "Stop that stomach rumbling. The child will hear you." Voices? Stomach rumbling? If this was part of my parents' trick, it was pretty cool. I peeked into the inky blackness. 5 pairs of eyes blinked back. See, now he knows we're here. The voices sighed. One of you has broken monster rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise. This is no trick, I thought. There are real monsters under my bed. Whoa, look at those monstery eyes. A yellow-necked monster slid out, followed by 4 little monsters. Rule number 2, the yellow monster introduced. Never block the bed. All of you, scout over. Hey, I realized that one must be their teacher. I sat up straight, mesmerized by the monster parade shuffling across my bedroom. That's better, the teacher monster said. Across to the bed is clear. Now, who knows rule number 3? The purple monster teetered up on his tippy toes. Get the child into bed. That's correct, Guinness. And how would you do that? Well, Mr. Z, I would roar my scariest roar. All right, give it a go. Guinness took a deep breath, opened his mouth, and let out a tiny burp. Stomach rumbles would have been a better chance of getting me into bed than the funny little noises. I laughed. The child is right, said Mr. Z, shaking his head. That was not scuffly scary. Guinness, I'm sorry. You are not the best monster for this child. There was some creaking as Guinness slunk beneath the bed. Before I could investigate where Guinness had gone, Mr. Z asked, "Now, who wants to try to get the child into bed?" The orange monster looked at the ceiling, and the red monster looked at the floor. Only the green one looked at me. First, he stared at my toes and started drooling. Then he took a step toward me, and I heard that rumbling noise again. I sprang into bed so he couldn't get my feet. Mr. Z blinked. "Very uncomfortable, Gabe. Your stomach grumbles seem to be what the child needs." What I needed, it was to make sure this Gable monster didn't eat my toes. "Right, you three. The child is now in bed," said Mr. Z. "As every monster knows, the unlimited object is rule number 4. Who can tell me what that is?" The orange monster bounced and squeaked. "Keep the child in bed until it falls asleep." "Correct, Morgan. And how would you accomplish that?" Shadow puppets, she squeaked. Gabe whistled through his nose, and I shrieked. But Mr. Z said, "Interesting idea. Try it." Morgan hopped onto the night table and flapped her arms near my lamp. Silly shadows blobbed onto the wall, and a cloud of furry fur tickled my nose. Choo! "Morgan, stop at once," Mr. Z ordered. "You're supposed to scare him, not make him sneeze." "I'm sorry, but you're not a match either." Morgan's arms flopped to her sides, and she slipped under my bed. There was some more creaking, and Morgan was then gone. After all that sneezing, I really needed a tissue. Suddenly, a huge shadow of uncut claws loomed across my room. Awesome, I thought, and kind of scary. I froze in place. "Powerful performance, Gabe," Mr. Z said. "But do either of you see a problem?" "Oh, I know," chirped the red monster. "The child is out of bed again." "Correct, Abigail," Mr. Z continued. "And one of you must get him back in bed." Let's recite rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise. All at once, poof, the monsters vanished. Then I heard more rumbling. Were they hiding in my closet, making noises to scare me? No, it was only my stomach grumbling. All this excitement made me hungry. I tipped past the closet and peeked out the door. So far, so good. No monsters. Then I stopped over the squeaky stair and sneaked down to the kitchen. As I reached into the pantry, I heard some chattering behind me. I sure hope it wasn't Gabe. That toe-loving Gabe. I yanked open the fridge. It wasn't Gabe. It was just the red monster shivering on the shelf. Found you, I laughed. Nice try, Abigail, said Mr. Z. But this isn't working. You're not the right monster for the child. But Mr. Z, she whined, it's not my fault he's not scared of me. I'm sorry, Abigail. Let's go. Abigail clopped behind Mr. Z. When I heard the creaking, I knew she was gone. I grabbed some crackers and headed upstairs, wondering if Gabe was gone too. I munched all the way down the hall, then went into the bathroom to brush my teeth again. When I opened the door a minute later, Gabe was definitely not gone. He was right there, and he was huge. I charged into my room and slammed the door, where I leaped into bed. I knew my toes were safe. Whew. I was surprised to hear something under my bed. Ragged breathing and stomach rumbling. Hey kid, Gabe growled. Good to see ya. I pulled my covers up tight. Now if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an enormous pile of drool. I peeked over the edge of my bed, and green ooze spread suddenly from underneath. Then the bed quivered as Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. Well, this looks quite promising, Mr. Z noted. When I heard some more creaking, I knew Mr. Z was gone. I was alone with Gabe. Gabe looked over my bed and began sharpening his uncut claws on my bedpost. How'd you get so big? I gasped. Rule number 5, my friend, he explained. People make monsters grow. So thanks for the crackers. Got any toes to munch on? I scrambled my feet so Gabe couldn't get them. This was way better than playing trucks. No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, tossing a pillow, a snuffed monster, off the bed. Gabe drove for it. His soft, comforting snorts filled the room as he sniffed the toy. I shivered. Kid, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. No other monster can scare me like you, I giggled. Gabe was the monster for me. His snorts and his ooze were perfect. I yawned, then shivered. I was asleep in no time. Okay, everyone. I hope you loved that book. And if you liked it, please leave a like to this video so I know to do more or to change the topic. Well, thanks for watching Creative Studios, everyone. Leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.